Hi guys, it's me, just finishing again, and for this video, I shall be discussing a movie which I just saw with my honorable father in theaters, Joe Sr., and I kind of figured that he would enjoy this movie because he likes movies with swords, sandals, and sorcery. So he likes movies like Troy, The Ten Commandments, Spartacus, another type of genre type movies like that. So I went into the Odyssey in 2026, thinking that he would enjoy it. Yeah, sure, he enjoyed it. But there was one key feature of it that I think that most people will drop a good legitimate point on, and that being that the movie's on the more confusing side, because sure it follows the events of the book made by Homer years and years ago, but it's a little bit of not in chronological order, something like Memento, like where you have like the war, the Trojan War, then you have the more monster stuff in the more present time, and then you have the more war parts, and then they finally get the horse, Trojan horse, and then they get more monsters on a journey back home to find a beloved wife, and then you get ways to where it's like going in the household with the son and trying to get with the stewards that want to marry the Queen Penelope, Odysseus' lover, one to love, all of that. Then you get what happens at the end of what happens at the end of the war, with the horse and such, and the destruction of the temples and whatever. Actually, this storytelling actually reminded me a little bit of what you did in the first God of War game, where you get little bits and pieces of Kratos' story and how he became the ghost of water and etc., beheading Zeus and all that other fun stuff. So that was pretty good too. But they did branch out from the actual story of the Odyssey in a few key parts. Most of it toward the end of the book, the end of the movie and the book, because in the movie they showed the fact that he actually had a sword fight with many of the swords that are trying to horn in on his wife. And in the book, you just have her do like a series of tests to prove that he's really the Odysseus that she fell in love with years ago and how they came with. So it's like kind of weird like that. I'm sure there are probably minor differences, like for example, this is another issue that people have with the movie, and I personally don't see any problem with it. But they did a bunch of winners about it, and that being the multicultural aspect of the movie, because we see that there are like people in the Navy regiment, for Odysseus' squad and army and everything, that are more diversified than say the movie 300, where they have 300 white people as being the soldiers of the army, whereas in this movie they have black people, they have white people, they have at least one Asian guy there. So I would say that that's kind of a bullshit claim, being that it's the Odyssey is much more of a fantastical type of story as compared to the Iliad. The Iliad, I believe, came first, and that was like a more historically accurate movie, book and movie compared to what was in the Odyssey book, because you do have the historical Troy, because the article dictates and stuff. So there's more proof for that to happen, and obviously with the Odyssey you have like sea monsters, beasts, giants, and all kinds of other baddies that would gradually kill off Odysseus' army and navy. So there's that. Plus the fact that historically I believe that Greece had it had like a multicultural background to it anyway, with the hub of the ancient world, or one of the many hubs of the ancient world. So it would be like a New York City type of thing right now. If New York City existed back then and they made like an army for themselves, it would puff up all kinds of culture and stuff. That and the fact that they were influenced from the Greek gods. So that kind of pleasant the whole idea about multicultural and fantasticalism element in there. Now, I know that people bitch at the fact that Zendaya plays Athena in this movie, or as my old buddy Chris say, Athena! Yeah, I don't mind it so much, being that she is Jamaican or something like that. I'm okay about it. Because she's a good actress in the role. Like I said, this is a movie that's based on a fantasy story, so it's similar to the Little Mermaid remake in that I don't care what the nationality or the skin tone of my mythological being and creatures are. Now, if you could go all the way with that, you might well say that the giants are too dark skinned too on that mark too. It's really kind of stupid and kind of based in S9. So I like this whole story about Odysseus trying to get home out to find his wife, to get married, remarried to his wife, and be reunited and stuff. And I like that. But I don't think that the idea of this law was actually incorporated in the story. I haven't read the book in about 20 years, 20 plus years, but I'm gonna say that not in the cards, as it were. And yes, I'm gonna mention politics for this one part in the movie, just one. So anyway, this follows the whole thing about the Trojan War, and that the Greeks wanted to take over the Great Walled City of Troy, but they couldn't do it because the defenses were too high, literally. So they devised an idea about making a horse to get in there, because apparently Poseidon, the god of the sea and the patron saint of Troy, was like horses. So it was kind of like a deceitful honor to him, to the god of the sea. And the people there, they took this Trojan horse and they brought inside the main wall of the city. That was a big mistake because Odysseus and his squad were in the forest. So when they brought into the city, the guys ended up having to break out of the horse and then open the gates of the city to let the defense down. And when the defenses were let down, the rest of the army came in and sacked it and burned it and destroyed it and destroyed all the temples and all the Dutch Athena. So anyway, I like that whole aspect. Now, to modern day politics, okay? And I know that taking the big horse, especially in the pose of a horse on its hind legs and stuff, which on its own, I would imagine that having a horse that's like that would be kind of difficult to maintain, especially with the weight of several men inside of it. But the fact that, that's upright like that would be a little bit of an engineering challenge to keep it upright. I'm just saying. But they're taking this horse like this giant marvel and its tribute to the god Poseidon. Now, going up to modern day politics, is that something that Trump would do? If Trump were at war with somebody, let's say Iran, and they were to present him with a golden statue of himself, don't you think that he would take it regardless of what any advisor would try to say to him? There might be a bomb in there might be some kind of a weapon, there could be enemy soldiers inside the statue and such. How much you want to bet that Trump would take that into his city or into his own room or something to activate whatever trap that they might have it there? Or say a Qatari jet, for example. That's something that he probably would do, but he did do actually to get in the jet. But whatever. This whole movie had nothing to do with politics. That was the one joke I could do for politics of the modern age. So soon I had to do it. This movie gives me nothing to work with in modern era. So give me at least one joke about that fat idiot. So anyway, we have they completely destroyed Troy. Even though I know I'm Pope, but I don't even know yet. So anyway, they sacked the city, they burned it to the ground, they destroyed, they killed all the citizens and everything. So they want to get home to the loved ones and their families and their wives and their children. So okay, so he's gotta go into he goes ashore on a ship in Odyssey. It's also played by Matt Damon. Now I didn't think that Matt Damon would be the person for this role, but he sure does a good job with it. He plays Odysseus, more of a chosen one type character, like Jesus Christ or Anakin Skywalker or Neo from the Matrix, or anyone with a foreknowledge of everything, special powers, blessed by the blind man Tiresias with hidden information and all that. Even though all the people who work under Odysseus he has guts for making all kinds of wrong decisions and stuff that will put them in peril and everything. But in any case, they end up sailing off to sea. get back home. And they end up on an island with a bunch of sheep in the island, and every night the sheep go into this massive cave. So the people follow them in there for food. And it just so happened that this cave's occupied by a cyclops, which honestly really resembled the character from Pan's Labyrinth, the pale man, the blind man, the two children could see the eyeballs put into his palm of his hands. He looks like that, especially when they blind him to try to get out of the place. And it's very funny because when they do this, they piss off Poseidon, because apparently, according to the book and the mythology, this Cyclops character, I have no idea how to pronounce the name, and I don't even want to try. But they have him angry and stuff, and then praying to his father Poseidon, to all the people that named him and all that. Kind of remind me of when Cartman gets beat up over something stupid. It's like, they beat me up. They did blood in me. Now, granted, I never had a fire poke into my eyeball, so I'm sure that's gotta really hurt a lot. So anyway, they piss off Poseidon, give him very rough seas and very bad storms, because that's what Poseidon is, the god of the sea, and the god of sea storms and earthquakes for some reason. So yeah, that I could definitely see that pissing off the sea god, by blooding one of his sons, his beloved son. The looks like a bad mile on an ass farm. But anyway, I'm sure that using his image, using one of his idols, the horse, the Trojan horse, and to defeat the enemy was a bad move too. It really like me trying to beat up my enemies with the cross. It's technically it's okay, but I'm sure I will probably piss somebody off up there in heaven. I'm sure that Poseidon probably don't like them using its icon to kill people and to get better off on somebody. So in any case, get real bad storms, and they piss off the sun god Zeus for it too. Later on, they piss him off even more so. So they also go to this island with warriors guy. I think they were in the book. I'm not quite sure about that. I think those shiny helmeted warriors were also in the book. So as you go on with the story, they eventually build down to one soldier being pictures himself. They had John Barrett as one of the soldiers in the Punisher, and they actually show off Odysseus' wisdom, because the way to get out of the giant's cave, the Cyclops cave, is they have they have the men dressed up in the sheep's wool to get past the big giant, and the giant always rubs his fingers against the sheep to make sure that it counts them properly. So when the guy dress up like that and they can't escape. So that's pretty cool. Then, let's see, what else is there? They had, this one guy, then they had the one part where they had men go to an island after they got pummeled by the Silver Warriors. They go to an island with all kinds of animals and there's like creatures there, like lions, tigers, and leopard, and a panther too. And we all wondering why these animals are attacking the men. And then they happen to go across a little house there. And the owner of the house is a person named Xerxes. Now she's actually in the book. And she ends up feeding all the men, food and stuff. But as she does so, she warps their bodies and the image to be pigs. Because the joke is that all men are pigs. All men are oinkers and screwids. So I think she might have the word shut up piggy. Okay, that's two. Give me two guys. So she said shut up piggy, and then all men are pigs and all men are swine and all of this other stuff. So that sounds a bit funny. I think it's implied that she was hurt by a man at one point in her life. All men are like that. All men are pigs during mind age, they'll run out there, we work at, and then that's it, and they go away. So I like the way she was actually groping around their face, molding it like clay. It reminded me of Cassandra Nova in the Deadpool movie. Last movie that I saw with my father so far. Besides the Odyssey. So anyway, I like the way she goes into somebody's throat, like deep throat, and fucks everything around in there. And then makes them all into pigs. And then she tried to offer Odysseus some more pig flesh, which is actually his man's flesh. All the pigs and all the animals on the island are like, no, don't go in there. She's evil, she's all this stuff. So then she actually talks the woman into giving the men back their form to be American, which almost remind me of the movie Spirited Away. I think that when Kurosawa made that movie, I think that he got the image of making men into pigs from this story, I believe. If not, there's a kind of Japanese folklore of some kind over there. Anyway, she makes men into pigs. She brings them back into their human form, or as she likes to say it, put on the disguises again. Because all men by their nature are pigs and they're creatures. So a manly form is more like a disguise to hide the fact that they're really nasty creatures. Whereas if you think about it, pigs are actually clean creatures. And the male form is more like hiding them. I don't know, weird logic. So anyway, they have you give them the free will to go away now and be free. But then there's also the big whirlpool versus the monster on the cliffside. Now, I will not try to pronounce the name of the whirlpool, but it is in mythology somewhere. And Odysseus makes the men go around the whirlpool, and then she goes, "Oh, we're free, we're out of the whirlpool, we're out of danger." Right as a monster grabs them off and drags them off into the cliffside to be devoured. So that does appear pretty damn funny, seeing him like that. "Oh, we're free, then yoink," and then get eaten up. So that does very, very funny, to me at least. So, and then the rest of the army men are like very pissed off because Odyssey let them into it. And I'm sure that many of these people have names for it, but there were a lot of yeses. I'll say that there were a lot of yeses. And many of them disappointed, flooded and disgusted. So anyway, I think we get the next big challenge there. And that's the one I was looking forward to, besides Circuits. Boy, how hot don't know feel like a woman's corn, right? Am I right, guys? So anyway, they neglect to say that what would it be like for women in the army? You know, if women were allowed to be in the army, would they be as horrible as men are? You can't say that about every man. Like, I wouldn't consider myself a pig. I would consider myself a beautiful butterfly. But in any case, yeah, you have that. And then you have the sirens. Now, I've always heard that the sirens are actually pretty good. They were like mermaids, some other beautiful creature that when men hear the voices of them, they would dive off the ship and go into the sea to the deaths. And that happened to one of the people that weren't securely fastened and didn't have a candle wax in their ears look away. The one Asian guy in the whole army dove off after the sirens call to go to the island where they were, because I guess he was horned up or something, so he was never seen from again. No, I love the way they did this. I really do like this in the way they present it, because like in God of War, whenever they did like a siren song, they did like a real or like some other heavenly note that they sing. But I prefer when my sirens sing the song "Go to Sleep, Little Baby." Watch the movie, or Boswell, that when you understand what I'm talking about. So anyway, they have the sirens doing the call, but it's kind of weird because they have do the song like they do it like individualized. So like my siren song will be different from the next person's siren song, which will be different from the next person down the line, and for the next couple people down the line, we will all have individual songs different from our own. I like that. it's kind of like our concept of heaven and hell, that each of our versions of hell and heaven will be different from our neighbors, different from the next person, and so on and so forth down the line. That's pretty nice, because they say that the siren call will give you everything you wanted, everything that you needed, and everything you wanted. And then some. So for each person, it'd be different for each. I might want a new Xbox for Christmas, and I might want PS2, and we don't want to talk about the Nintendo lovers out there. Anyway, yeah, it's somewhat to that effect. And yes, they do the thing where they have all the men on the, rowing the big boat, doing the heave-ho thing, but with kind of waxing the ears to prevent them from being affected by the song. Except for that one guy. I think he just had do that just so that they could show what the sirens did to these people. They never actually show what these sirens look like. So they could be monsters, or they could be beautiful women, for all we know. Or they could be beautiful men, too. Though other men than the deaths. So anyway, they also have Odyssey over there saying that I want to be the only guy to hear the song and survive. So whatever you do, tie me up to the mast so that I can hear it, but I can't act on it. So I can't jump off the edge of the ship and swim to my death. So that's pretty cool. Like, he wanted to be the only guy to experience something, but he was kind of a stupid thing to want to experience. Like, I've experienced myself with Limburger cheese and with skydiving, for example, even though my parents thought I was mad for doing that. But I still did it. I mean, I live a bad life because of it. There's no, what if I went skydiving? What if I tricked Limburger cheese? What if I hate this mosquito here? So anyway, there's that. So that's pretty nice what they did there for that guy. And they don't actually show what Odysseus hears in their Molotov low harmonica sound. If that makes any sense. So it'd be like a kind of a numb sound to us, like a drawing sound to us, because we're not the ones experiencing that pleasure. Whereas Odysseus probably like that heavenly thing, his own wife's voice, played by Anne Hathaway, which I could have sworn that I thought that she would have played, that Penelope would have played by Liz Tyler. But no, it was Anne Hathaway in a very good role. She herself was very, there were many students that wanted to get with her, and she made the deal that if she finished her grandfather's burial shroud, that she would marry the first guy in it. So what she did was she would make the burial shroud during the day, and then take it apart during the night. So she would have to restart over again the next day. And she kept doing this, putting off for like 7 years or so. Until my boyfriend came back. Until her boyfriend came back. he's madder than ever. So in any case, the next test was to see if the men could survive on desert island and not eat Zeus's prize kettle. I have no idea why his prize beefsteaks were on a desert island with nothing around, and the fact that Zeus didn't provide the men with any food or vegetation on the island to support themselves. That was kind of a dick move, you know. You don't give the men any food besides the tenderloins that they were forbidden to eat. It kind of reminded me of the how you know, when God put Adam and Eve into the Garden of Eden, the one piece of fruit that they can't eat is the fruit of the tree of knowledge of good and evil. But yet it looked so tempting and so wonderful and so juicy that they couldn't help but eat it for themselves. Plus the damn serpent was trying to get them to eat it. And in any case, they eat it, and the fall man came. So it's very similar to that effect. Anyway, the men end up eating the kettle, pissing off Zeus. I should say Zeus. So they end up getting all kinds of thorns and all kinds of bad problems and all that stuff. So then it ends up being all shipwrecked. Well, this was just one person, and then be Odysseus. So Odysseus at this point was given the lotus flower by Calypso. Now the guy from Twist and Middle was the actual witch sorceress. Calypso was on the island, and I believe he was played by Charlie Theron, the Throne, or however you pronounce her name. And she was living with Odysseus, nursing him back to health again over the course of 7 years. So I think that at this point he should kind of like prolonging his suffering and healing abilities until he said, yes, forget my wife, I want to get married to you. Which would be a very bad mistake because that's the way it's hot. I don't care what anyone does, she's hot. So anyway, they have him doing that in the beginning for my friends, going back to go tell the intruders and knock some heads. So anyway, you do that, and then like a whole big banquet hall full of people being loud and being annoying up toward her, and they say, we demand that we have our chance of being laid with the queen. So Odysseus comes over there with as like a humble beggar, and everyone treats him like crap over there. Even though Zeus' law and her own law said that she treats guests like human beings instead of animals. So she gives kindness, kind of resembles the Beauty and the Beast parable a little bit in the beginning of the story. By giving that sanctuary and kindness to an old beggar person. So anyway, they showed that he kept on the old pin from her robe from years ago that she would leave him as like a memento. Always remember me, and always remember this pin so that I can identify you. So he does that. He also had a bone or something from a little kid that he now turned into a wonderful tutor that wanted to take her. It was in the marriage, and he doesn't want to give it. He doesn't want to receive the bone from this guy again because he's worthless, and clearly he's the evil one because he gives him a test about swinging the guy's bowstring, and that only he can do it. Which, by the way, this guy Odysseus, besides being really smart and having knowledge of future events, is more like the Hawkeye of ancient Greeks. Like, he can string a bow, he can shoot like rapid fire arrows at the things that can send army members. He's pretty much a rainbow with bow and arrow. So anyway, the thing is that she has to use his bow as a test because the husband, Odysseus, is the only one the only man in the entire world that can use this bow and string it properly and then shoot with it. So every man over there tries it and they can't do it. But the evil guy, the guy that was the kid over there, says, no. We don't want to do these games because she's already made up her mind. She doesn't want us. So the beggar guy, Odysseus, is over there saying, let me give it a try. So every man is over there saying, haha, look at that loser, I'm gonna do it. And sure enough, he does it. He shoots the perfect 12 axes in the robe, and then he ends up saying, haha, I'm the real husband now. Bow before me. And you gotta get out of here, louds. And don't let the door hit you on the way out. Of course, they don't like this. And they end up trying to beat the shit out of him. And they even have one of the guys over there go up into the back room and get the weapons back from them. So anyway, they end up fighting each other. And the woman ends up going behind closed doors because she doesn't want to get messed up by it. And it's funny because before this whole scene goes on with this test, they have like a weird where one of the spirit women actually sees Odysseus' face, like, and it's about to say something, but he said, don't blab about it. So she keeps mum the word, and she ends up going into the other room. Meanwhile, the guy is trying to tell her about, the Odysseus, the man, and all this stuff, and everything else. And she starts to believe that this guy must have known Odysseus well. I trust you to marry me. And after he killed the guys, they're like killing with a bunch of spears and all kinds of weapons and stuff. And we think that he died. And he's like, hold me. So she holds him as a one true love would do. But it turns out that he's not dying, he's not visiting Hades right now. He's going to go on a journey with her. Maybe in the Odyssey Part 2, which I want to see actually. So anyway, there's a big fight at the end, which I find kind of over the top, because if you read the actual book, it's not. There's no big sword fight at the end. There's no big to do at the end. It's just a series of tests by her to see that this man is very worthy of her hand in marriage, among other things in marriage. And one of the tests, I think, is the bow. And then the other one is to move the bed out of her room. To which Odysseus said to her, "Come on, woman, I can't move that bed out of there. I built the bed directly out of the tree that we fell in love with that we fell in love under." So then she knows that that's him, because otherwise any other man would try and move that bed out of the tree, as the tree has a horror. So anyway, that was the Odyssey, the movie from 2026. Do I like it? Big breath, I like that. I like the movie. I like it a lot. But I don't like the fact that we have one main goddess in there. Just a Zendaya as Athena. It would be nice if they put like Zeus beside Hades, before Kratos destroyed the kill them all. Aphrodite, all the major players in the god pantheon, in the Greek pantheon. It would be nice. Some of the minor deities would be nice too, like Dionysus, but maybe some of the demigods and the Greek heroes would be nice too, like Hermes, Dionysus, Apollo, Hercules, Theseus, with the maybe a visit from Medusa would be nice, or Jason, and those other guys too. Or Perseus, Perseus would be nice too. You could couple it. But I would like to think that in the end, when they showed the Trojan War happening, I like when they show woman being beheaded and then gets transformed into Athena, and then from Athena the statue gets destroyed. That was really nice, because that's really happening in this story. Athena gets destroyed, smashed. And that looks like I'll review the actual book when I get a chance, or when I can dig it out. But it's very something special, this movie and the book. It definitely deserves a high rating on Rotten Tomatoes. So I thank you for watching my little review about the Odyssey in 2026. I highly recommend you watch this. Although I find it interesting that the subject in the movie was more love. There were some shots where it was kind of grimy, kind of like Vaseline covered the camera, white, resembled like a bootleg movie. more or less. And that was like kind of stupid. Yeah, it was almost out of focus in some parts. I don't know if that was on purpose or what, but it was kind of weird. But it was also nice that they showed the passage time that they showed it. A little kid looking up to Odysseus. No, it's not like, come on, you old man, let me bang your wife. You know, I don't care if your son's like a little bit younger than I am, I still want to play your wife. That's all I'm here for. Just my opportunity to ring her gong. And that's not right. And also, for the same matter, when Matt Damon gets older with makeup and beard and stuff, it looks like Tom Hanks in Castaway. It also looks like Jedi Master Luke from The Last Jedi. And let's have to figure out the movie to better. So yeah, thank you for watching my video. My dad enjoyed the movie, but it was a little bit confusing for him. I mean, I answered the whole thing because the entire thing was almost 3 hours long. Now, I had to go to that sometimes to answer the whole thing. Some of the parts were kind of slow. Like, for example, whenever they're talking about stuff, like give it a movie in the flashbacks and stuff, that tends to be very slow. And the guy had very good memory for someone that was on White Lotus all the time, and for someone that always that was experiencing these things 7 years after the fact. You would think that some of the memory would be kind of blurry, kind of odd, and some unforgettable. But yeah, I give the movie a very encouraging, happy face. Is it approval? Because it's freaking awesome. This movie's great. I love it to pieces. As I found the original story and various incarnations of it, like O Brother with Otho and Troy. This movie is excellent. I recommend it. If you like what you see here and want to see more on my channel, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel. I don't comment for future information on my videos, but call me or text me 631 707 3707. Or if you like to tell me, follow me on Twitter or X at PNelsonPro. And my email is jjsviewingchannel@gmail.com. So, remember guys, I salute all you guys who like the book from your class studies at college level or any type of Greek mythology type thing, because that's really awesome. And who else wants to see Odysseus fight with Kratos in like God of War DLC or something? That'd be something funny. Yeah. Let me know if you like the movie. Peace out, my brothers and sisters. I'll see you in the next video. All you girls and guys in internet land. Ciao, ciao, and sayonara.